Hello, what's going on today? This is David with another live stream. Right on. Opportunities and Mindsets 2 is our topic today. That's such a good response from our previous podcast that we're going to do a number 2. So, I know it sounds redundant, but that's how I feel today. And let's make ourselves be better at what we need to do. One of the situations that came up is how to look at yourself in a better light and how to be better within yourself. Those two things are very paramount to what you need to be doing on a daily basis. In our previous broadcast on opportunities and mindset go together, we just talked about how to look at your bills and how to be better within what you need to be doing. And these are just strategies to tell you how to alleviate stress. So, on this one, the number 2, we're just saying, okay, how can you stay consistent within these situations? The way to stay consistent is just to be available within your own self. One of the ways of consistency is maybe writing something down, excuse me, or if you're in the digital age, having something that can help you, like making a list and having it show up every morning at a certain time. So one of the best things to do is on digital is if it shows up, say you get up at 5:30, 4:30, 5:30. And so you have a reminder set for that time to either come up in your text, TXTs, TXTS, excuse me there. And so you can see it. And so when you wake up, it hits you immediately. So that way you can say, okay, these are the 4 things. Once I press in here in this text, these are the 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 things that I need to do every day. So it just depends on how many you have. You can have way more, but we've always said keep it simple and only do those things that are going to make you money. Only do the things that are going to make you be at your highest potential for that day. Only do the things that you know that you can complete. So that brings us to our next situation. The best thing about that is you are controlling your narrative. You are controlling what goes on during the day. So whether you're an entrepreneur or a worker or a combination thereof, or you're thinking of it, this will get you ready to go immediately. And it helps to focus your thought process, which we've said previously, to keep positives flowing from the morning till when you're in your task, whatever that may be. One of the easiest issues of the day is having that first victory. So once you press, that's a victory. Once you press that text, that's a victory because now you're getting your mindset ready to go. So the easiest situation that you can do, you might be making up your bed, which we've said in previous podcasts. It might be just saying something to get yourself motivated or doing something to keep yourself motivated. Those are basics that you can do that create victories. And like we said before, you keep stringing these victories along, then there's no issues as perceived by yourself. And that's very good. So you want to keep the issues to a minimum. Now, if you're going to a space that is toxic to you, it's your job to make sure that that toxicity is something that you overcome on a daily a daily regimen, excuse me there, a daily regimen and a daily thing, and you're going to eliminate it by having your text that you receive on your to-do list or your written down list to look at it so that when the toxicity comes, there's always a tool that's in place. So you woke up in the morning positive, you had some victories before you left the house. And if you work at home, you had some victories as you walk over to your computer. So you start alleviating stress immediately. So the toxicity that you may have, whether you work online or at work, or a combination thereof, has already been defeated. And this is why those that are winners win, and everything that happens to them, they look at it from a positive perspective. Case in point, you've got a toxic person that you work with. Okay, you know what it is with them. So why are you going to let it bother you? Because every day you're dealing with it. So in order to deal with the toxicity, you got to create some tools. So by doing your lists and having victories before you get to work or before you're online, that toxicity does not bother you. They may be toxic for other reasons. Maybe they're having a bad home life, or maybe their life isn't going the way they want it to go. I mean, it could be a number of reasons. It's not for you to diagnose them, it's for you to understand, okay, this person is toxic. So I have to know how to deal with it. And the way you deal with it is you have victories before you got to deal with them. So you're already in a positive mindset. So some people say, when I talk to them, they're a buzzkill. Okay, they're only a buzzkill if you allow it to be. So if they say extraneous comments or if they say things that aren't kosher, it's a couple of ways of handling it. Keep a file. Okay, if you're working, keep yourself going. Okay, and never show any emotion as to what they're saying. Okay, there's other ways too that are more in depth. I'll go into this never showing any emotion. The reason why you don't show any emotion because you know that that's them. That's your expectation until they prove otherwise. So you have to come up with sayings for yourself. Sometimes you'll hear people say those, those things don't exist in my world, things like that. All right. So you got to come up with something that's conducive to you. I have other sayings that I won't say here. So, but anyway, the situations with that toxicity, it could be a boss, it could be a workers that are under you. You have to find a way to overcome what they are talking about or how they feel, because that's what it is. You're dealing with their particular feelings. And that's why you have to be devoid of emotion on it, because those are their feelings. We don't know what happened the night before or the morning before. Remember, you're going to work or you're getting online and you have special powers that you're starting off with victories. And that's the whole point, is you have victories accordingly. And when you have victories accordingly, whatever they're talking about, like we say, it rolls off your back like a duck, and like a duck swimming around in the pond and it's raining. The water is just slicking off his or her back. No issues. This is what we do. If you would like to join the chat, there it is down to the left where it says chat.restream.io/Facebook. That's for our Facebook people. And you just have to approve everything, and then you can come in the chat. Okay. Second part of this. The second part is, who's better to be great than you? That's what you have to ask yourself. Who works harder than you? So when you get up and you have a couple of victories, let's say you have 5 victories as you get up. Okay, so you go to work, like we said, online, which means you probably walking, might be in the same room or you're walking to another room, or whatever the case may be. You already have victories. Okay, and then if you're driving to work, okay, you have to go to another physical location. You already have victories when you start it up. So who cares what they think? Who cares about their emotions? You hear a lot about this thing right now where they're saying emotional intelligence and all these keywords and buzzwords. What you need to realize is no matter what they come up with, you already got victories. So you're walking into work with a smile on your face, or you're walking into work ready to go. So you always want to get there a little early. It's not something that people ain't heard. It's just you're hearing it in a format now to where it's actionable. And so it deletes the consequences. So what happens is you are the high flyer for the day. You are the person that is making moves every day. And if you have a team, then you are the persons that are making moves every day. So these are the situational awarenesses that you have to be aware of. When you work and you're in a toxic environment, and we know that toxic environments create stress. The reason why opportunities and mindset go together, because you're eliminating your stress, okay? And you're providing yourself with your own personal toolbox to deal with whatever contingency comes your way during that day. And sometimes your toolboxes will change what you have in your toolbox. So you want to think like the superheroes you see, whoever it is you might like. We're not going to get into that here, but you know who it is that you like. And so they always have tools and things to cope, but they always overcome. Okay, in a perfect world, yeah. In our real world, it's still possible because you might not overcome on Monday, but by Thursday, you're overcoming. See, it's a work in progress, what we say a whip. You'll always hear me say that. So those works in progress always alleviate stress because the other person or persons or the toxic environment, whatever the triggers are for you, you now can say, okay, I can step back and I can look at this situation for what it is. It's a learning experience. Toxicity is a learning experience. Once you realize that, then you realize it's not toxic. What it is, these are triggers that happen to you that you let your emotions run rampant with. Okay, people are going to say things to you, or a person's going to say something to you that rattles your cage, So you got to be smart about it. And you say, okay, let me go into my toolbox. So, like we say, it might be a couple of breaths that gets you, okay, here we go. And then it's saying, okay, in your mind, you have to say, okay, let me think this out before I say anything. Think before you speak, think before you act. Okay. And now, if you're in a toxic environment and say it's a meeting and you have to be smart on your feet and you might have a few quips to return. Okay. But remember, sometimes your quips can alienate people more. Okay. So if you're online, body language and, how they're appearing to you is going to, it's going to give you some signals. And just like in person, but your mission is stay on task. You don't have to be stubborn about it, but stay on task and just listen. Be more of a listener. When it's a toxic environment, actually listen. Because what you might find out is what you initially think is toxic may not be toxic. It just may be constructive criticism if it's your boss, or if it's somebody you're the boss of and you give them free reign. And it might help you, it might not. But you can't get mad about it. You can't blow your top, so to speak. That's the difference in great people and good people. Great people, they take it all in stride and they say, okay, what was the positive? What was the positive of all this? Is it information that I actually need to do? Or is it information that's just piled on? And a lot of times when you're in a corporate environment, and even if you work in a warehouse environment, you there's people that say things that are not kosher. Okay, but you can't blow your top. You got to say, okay, let me step back. Let me take my deep breaths or whatever coping mechanism I got, and let me think this thing through. Why are they saying this to me? So it's just like you're out here and somebody bumps into you. Okay, so now you have a physical situation. Okay, and so you say, okay, well, let me step back. Let me move on out the way. Let me just keep going. You know what I mean? And not pursuing this issue. And when you have a verbal altercation, okay, then you have to know that, okay, I'm within this. Let me just listen. I don't necessarily have to take it because that leads to me having stress. If I say, I got to take this, I can't believe this. But that leads to you having stress because later on in the day, you're going to go eat lunch or dinner, you're going to go home, you're going to carry that negative thought with you. And it's going to affect your body, affect how affect how you are. So the easiest thing to do is to say, okay, I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna take what I need, and I'm gonna toss the rest. But I'm also going to make sure that I'm taking care of myself within this conversation. Okay, so there's a verbal altercation, which is common right now. Maybe you're getting gas, and someone cuts in front of you after you've been waiting for minutes. Okay, instead of worrying about it, just say, you know what, the gas ain't going nowhere. Let them have it. You know, because that's on them. Karma comes back in different ways. It's just like the earth. Spring, summer, fall, winter, they all come in whatever order. They're going to keep coming until man decides that they don't want to deal with it anymore. Okay, that's real. Okay, so one of the situations that will is very toxic is when you get a tongue lashing. And what we mean by tongue lashing is that's a real uh, conversation, maybe some cussing, maybe some things that are being said that are out of line. Okay, if you're on a job, they may be out of line. They may be against the law. They may be, help to create a hostile work environment. Those are things. So that's that toxicity to the ultimate. Okay, so how you deal with it is like I said, while they're talking, take a couple of deep breaths. You can just take it by yourself. Look them in the eye. And then if you're able to get a chance to say something, then say something. But if you're in an environment where they don't want you to say something, then don't say anything. But what you can do with a person is, you know what, I need to maybe, meet you out of work, or you guys hang out at the watering hole, the local watering hole, just say, hey man, I understand where you're coming from, but I need you to talk to me, a little more decorum. It's stuff like that you can say, you know, and sometimes your boss takes it negative, or, so that's when okay, I know my boss. That's when you got to know your boss, and you got to say, okay, this is how I need to approach him or her. And so these are things that you can do to tamper down the toxicity. So you're always trying to, it's like opening a window and letting it out. So once you have your tools on how to deal with it, then you can go on about your day. But remember, you woke up with strategies to be better in the morning. So before you went to work or you went online to go to work, you have already had victories. So as you go through the toxicity, that's what you're going to lean on. I got up, I did everything I wanted to do. And that's going to help you through. So a lot of people will tell you, okay, you got to tune them out. Yeah, you got to tune them out. But if you're on the job and that's your boss, you still got to listen at some point. Okay, maybe the boss having a bad day, and it just is one of those situations. So, and they may take it out on you, but you may have been working with them for years. So it just depends on, it depends on you. I mean, I can't tell you all of what you need to know. Most of it you already know. Most of my listeners have been out here either in the workforce, entrepreneurial ship, or whatever. You guys already know. But it's good to know how to overcome that toxicity, because that gives you the reputation of being a person that, oh, they understand. They just go and they do their job. You know what I mean? They don't give us any problems. So that's what's being said about you behind closed doors. So you're a valued employee. And if you're the employer, then how you treat your employees may determine where your wealth is going to come from to keep your business and its doors open. So do you treat your people that work with you as employees? Do you treat them as family? Do you do a combination thereof? Do you provide them, and do you do situations for them to have growth? That's why the best companies to work for right now provide their people that are within their space growth. So maybe you have speakers coming in, Maybe you have consultants, coaches, people like me that come in and help with the growth and help to improve your profit. Happy employees a lot of times produce growth. And the reason being because you're never going to get 100%. But if you have happy employees or you have happy people that work with you and they're happy to work with you, you have a pleasant work environment, then your profit margin is going to shoot up or trend up. The reason being is because now all of the issues and problems are considered work, a work in progress. And once you have a situation where you have a work in progress, even on your job, when you have those whips, those works in progress, and you get teams together, you switch around teams, and different things happen. You're always going to be known as the person that helps solve a situation, which means you're increasing value to that company. And if you're a business owner, it increases value because now the people that are with you, that are working with you, they feel like they're part of a giant team, a giant structure. Even when you have relationships, you still have to be a team. Someone's going to lead, someone's going to follow, then it's going to flip, then it's going to go back, then it's going to go around in a circle, and then it's going to come back. But as long as it's positive, it does not matter. And that's what's going on in the world right now. We have so much that is negative out here, and it's adding to the toxicity of everyone towards each other. Okay. So one of the problems is half of those situations have nothing to do with I or us. They just, in the world, that's the way it is. So you've got generational, you've got racial, you've got gender, got gender specific. You have all of these situations out here, and that's just some of them. I'm not picking on those situations. I'm just saying these seem to be the main situations right now. And right now, we have to insulate ourselves personally because we don't know how this economy is going to go. And this brings us to the next point, why opportunities and mindset go together too. Reason is that we have to understand where the opportunities are, whether it be a new presidency, a new political group, or a new way to get funds for building a business, whether it be business credit, loans, HELOCs, whatever it may be. We have to find out what is our processes and who we are so that we can go ahead and move forward. Sometimes you got to bootstrap a situation. So that means your budget has to be correct so that you can pull out what you need. And it might be this little, but it might be something that makes an impact this big. So you want to keep moving forward. And that's always the thing we talk about. Another situation that's great is that once you realize, okay, I got a household, okay, whether it's just you or it's you and significant other or you and significant others or you with concubines, you know what your budget is, okay, and then you got to know what your stress threshold is. Once you figure that out, then that adds to your toolbox. Okay, if you got three concubines and you forgot to get them some home training and now they're older, so now it might be a little bit too late. You have to figure out, okay, how can I get this to move forward? How can I move this to release some of this stress that's in the house when I come home every day or when I wake up or when I work online? So you got to figure out how to get through that. It's never too late. It's never too late for anything. It's just about you being better within yourself. Okay, now your mindset has to be looking for solutions. Okay, and there's different ways. I mean, you got faith-based solutions. You got, you can talk to gurus, whatever you want to do online. You can listen to my podcast, whatever. It only matters if it's good information for you and it's conducive to you and it's going to help you to move forward or help you to think in a different way. The process with dreams to reality is that we're saying, hey, take a look at things from a positive perspective, okay? And find out what ails you. Find out so you can know your stress threshold. So once you know your stress threshold, now you can say, okay, that's toxic to me. Okay, so now you can make an honest decision not based on how you feel, but based on what the facts are. And this is a very good situation for a lot of people. So if you make a decision based on the facts, so now you're confident in that decision and now you can live it. And then it becomes your lifestyle. So that's why we say in this group, dreams to reality. So your reality becomes your lifestyle. See, that's that part there. So you want to make sure that your thoughts are pure for you. You want to make sure your thoughts are pure for your family. And you want to know you got to balance those two. Because sometimes, you got kids, you're running all day, you got to work, you got to go pick them up or drop them off to sporting events and whatever recitals, whatever it may be. But you still have to take time for yourself within that time frame. And so once you start doing that, you'll find that everything that you are accomplishing is very, very positive. So this is where we're at today, and this is where we're always going to be. One of the situations that makes your mindset and your opportunities grow is that putting yourself in the proper mentality to do that. So making yourself be better every day, one step at a time, or 10 steps, 12 steps, 13 steps. We've talked about it before in those podcasts, but we're saying it today because somebody might have had to take a small step, a baby step, and maybe somebody else that they know told them, oh, why are you doing that? Or said something negative, that toxicity, because you're moving forward. And so you don't pay attention to them. You just keep going, because if you didn't get that hate, you wouldn't know you were moving forward. In this universe, there's a duality. Everything in this universe is a duality. So once you realize that, then you realize, okay, if I'm doing good, I'm automatically going to get hate. It's not that you expect the hate from people you love or people. It's just that that's the way it is. They don't view it as hate. They view it as constructive criticism, but you took it as hate. So the reason why you took it as hate, because you knew in your heart that you're doing what you need to do that's conducive to you. So, and this always comes, and the people that are closest to you will sometimes cut you. But it's not a bad thing. It's just showing you who they are. And now okay, so that's how they think. Okay, so maybe I need to take myself or extricate myself out of their situation. And everybody likes a winner. So those same haters, when you start winning and it starts showing, then they'll come around. They'll tell you. And then that you be like, okay, right on. So one of the big things about it is this. It's simply this. Do you, be you, overcome whatever it is that you're trying to be. And what I mean by that is, if you have hurdles and mountains, first figure out if the hurdles and mountains are you putting those in front of yourself because of lack of confidence or lack of self-awareness that you can accomplish whatever you want to do. So when you get that mindset together, you take certain words out of your vocabulary, like I can't do this, or it's just not feasible right now. It's always feasible. You just haven't found a solution. When you start finding solution to make yourself better, then that's when you'll move forward. So that's why the day begins. Sometimes you have small steps. Sometimes you got big steps. That's why you stick to your plan. And once you stick to your plan and stay on it, the sky is not the limit. You just keep going. However high it takes you, just keep going. We were all kids. They used to be like, we used to play football games and stuff out in the street, in the park, and, do all kinds of stuff. And we used to play this game called Rack 'em Up. So they throw the ball in the air, and then whoever got it had to run, score a touchdown. Okay. So, but then 3 or 4 guys would, come and get you. Okay. Tackle you and stuff. And it was football. So we used to call it Rack 'em Up. But Rack 'em Up is a very good precursor for life, because what it did was it showed you which way you needed to go. Okay. And then it showed you how to make the moves on the run. So that there is a precursor to life because that's what you're in right now. And one of the things I used to watch people jump roping and hopscotch and all of that. All of those games made you have to think and do. And so as we get adults, we put down a lot of those games. Okay. But those lessons are still there. And that's why your opportunities and your mindset go hand in hand, because if you take all that you've learned in your DNA over the course of your life, the good, the bad, the ugly, the not so bad, whatever you think that you failed at, and just realize, okay, I know what I didn't do here. I know what I didn't do there. Okay. And realize, okay, this here was my fault. This here was their fault. So maybe you were in an environment that was not conducive to you. You didn't know, you just growing up. And so you picked up those bad habits. So that's what you want to undo, that operant programming. You want to go, oh, okay. You want to say, okay, so these are the habits I picked up. So once you realize that, now you can move forward. Now, some people do it with life coaches. Some people do it with therapy. Some people do it just living. It just depends on what floats your boat and what's going to be conducive to you. So when this podcast got started, it was based on the fact that anything can be accomplished in the world. Okay, and then what are the skills and tools that's needed to move forward? How much positivity can I hold within, and how much positivity can one hold within themselves to move forward? It's hard to stay motivated because there's so many distractions in this world. But what's good about it is, if you set your bar to where you're having victories every morning before you even start, then what happens with that is that becomes your lifestyle. So every day you got, let's say every day you got 5 victories. Okay, so in 5 days, that's 25 victories. So no matter what you did on the job, at the job, or however you work, or whatever you did in entrepreneurial spirit, you already have 5 victories before you even started. And that's how you got to look at, oh, I had 25 victories. Now, you don't really keep track, but you just know what it is in the back of your mind. And that's why I'm saying that. Because a lot of people say, okay, I had 5 today, I had 7 yesterday. Okay, listen, it is what it is. But you just know that every day when you wake up, you got victories. And that's your lifestyle. So it's going to transfer over in everything else you do. I'll tell you this, no matter how much you have or don't have, if you look within, you have everything you need. It's following you. It's just waiting on you to reach up and grab it. Let me grab it and take it, and let me let it be my lifestyle. So you can learn a lot from what you accomplished. So it's a lot of people out here, they be down, things didn't happen for them, or, whatever the case may be. We've all been through it, but it actually wasn't time. It wasn't in God's time. It wasn't in the right timing. So it's not that you don't have what you need. It's just you haven't brought forth what is the best part of you. You might have, 50 instances of what's best part of you. And we're just throwing numbers out there, so don't get stuck. Okay. You might have only one thing that's the best part of you. So if there's one, you got to increase that. You got to increase that. And no, we're not talking about body parts either. We're not, that's included, but that's something that's just what it is. It doesn't count because it doesn't get you anywhere. If you're riding that, it doesn't get you anywhere because it's going to get you either child support, it's going to get you some negative vibrations, not doing what you're supposed to do. We've all been through it. I mean, it's going to get you things that are not conducive to you. But on the positive side, whatever you create in this world, you just got to be able to pay for it here in America. Okay, that's what it is. So that's how you got to look at, okay, okay. So, but what we're saying is keep rolling and just run over whatever it is. Run over it. You don't have to run over people per se. Run over your goals so that every day you're reaching your goals, and you're starting more goals, and you're having more of a winning relationship all day, every day. Um, One of the situations that makes this a good plan for you is that only you know what your walk is and what hurts and pains you got. It's up to you to change those hurts and pains and put smileys on them, like they used to say in grade school. That's what it is. So sometimes that hurt is just to make you the better person that you are today. So all of your dreams and hopes, all of those things are a part of you. So that's what makes you you. That's what makes you great. And to be great, you got to do excellent. You got to do excellence every day. You don't have to be a perfectionist. You just got to do excellence every day. So that's why you want to wake up with at least a certain number of victories every morning that you do. It's a victory, make up your bed. It's a victory, you drink 2 cups of water. It's a victory, you're eating healthy. It's a victory, you work out. It's a victory that you consciously consciously contemplate positive in your life. It's a victory that you are able to get up and have another day to be better. It doesn't matter, how many steps you take. It just matters that you're moving forward. That's why you see little children, when they learn how to walk, they say, okay, in their mind at some point, they're going to get up and start walking. They're going to go from crawling to walking because that's what everybody does. Okay. So those are victories. Remember those victories. Think back when you were a kid, you had a victory. I remember one time I turned in bottles, before, this is back before we had all the CRV and all that stuff. This is way back when, and I recycled them so that when the ice cream truck came around, I could get me an ice cream every day. So whatever, and you guys got memories, I'm sure. And I'm not going to talk about it, but you had something off that ice cream truck. You was able to get it without any help from anybody else, or if you did have help. So that was a victory to me. So sometimes when I'm in business, I think back to those days when I feel like I'm not moving as far as I think I should. So instead of me having a toxic thought, I think back to when I was a kid, and I remember all them bottles I had on my little wagon, red wagon, taking them to the store and getting the nickels and dimes and pennies, whatever it was, and then either saving them or having ice cream that day from the ice cream truck. So those helped me, out of my toolbox to have a victory. So if I'm negotiating, if I'm looking at a potential deal, if I'm looking at a potential way to increase income, those are part of the toolbox that helped me to move forward. Now, I'm sure you guys got a toolbox and you've got things in that toolbox that you got to think. What you think was a simple situation as an adult, you're going to rely back on that great feeling that you had when you accomplished something. Okay. So you want to keep it positive and keep that in your toolbox. And your toolbox is always rolling with you. It's always with you. So no matter what you do, your toolbox will help you. And then that brings back to that toxic environment. Use your toolbox. So you got things in there that you remember, maybe people were doting on you as a kid, or maybe they didn't, but that's part of your toolbox because now you have things that help you lower the stress levels and to keep you moving forward. Now, this Thursday is great because it makes for winners win. That's an old statement. All right. So it's Thursday, April 28th, 2022. Imagine that. You're winning today. You are winning. So I'm going to send out all positive vibes to everybody on this, listening and watching, because that's what I do. I want to be a positive force for change. Okay. My family and my family's history has been public service, to be of service to others. So I've done it and I'm doing it. So is it about me? No. What I'm saying is put yourself in a position to where you get joy out of what you are doing, no matter how bad or how the situation stinks. Find joy in that situation and keep going and get rid of that toxicity. So that's why the opportunities and your mindset, they roll together, because as the more positive you are, the more people you'll attract in your life that are on the same mission that you're on. I want to be a part of your mission. This is very important. So different people do different situations because you got to outsource what your mission is. So the old saying used to be, "Who love their mama?" And they would everybody put their hands together on top of each other, and that's what they used to say. So if you don't have a mama, or if your mama's passed on to the next world, or if she's still around, remember this: you have the memory, the lessons, and the blessings from your mama. And if you didn't have a mama, I guarantee you there was somebody in your life that gave you that love. You just didn't see it. You didn't realize it because it wasn't what you wanted. You wanted from a specific person, but maybe you didn't get it. So I mean, you have issues with it. That just means that other people stepped in there and they did what they were supposed to do. So one of the situations is be great. Take those steps daily. So we know we have a lot of educators and stuff. A lot of people are on spring break if they teach the younger kids. So you guys have, you guys have and take time for yourself, so that I know it's not an easy job, easy task, but take time for yourself and make sure you get yourself together so that when you go back, you can be fresh and ready to tackle the toxicity and the stress. And that's what we want to do every day. Everybody, even me, we want to do that every day and to be better and to be a caring and sharing person with ourselves. So you'd be like, okay, I remember when I was, whatever age and I did this. Okay, but what was the end result? Was it good, bad, or indifferent? It actually was good, even if it seemed like it was bad, because maybe it made you make the jump to be a better person. And then if you had to relearn that life lesson and go back around in that circle, then hey, that's what it is. That's what it was. And then hopefully you got the lesson. And we know that everybody here got their lessons. So that's what we're saying. So I just wanted to talk a little bit this morning, to just talk about, keeping it positive and keeping it real, because keeping it real only means that you keep it real to yourself, which means it's going to be real to other people. That's what it really means. So when you're real to yourself and you're ready to step out there by being real to yourself, then you'll attract the right people in your life, whether it be a mate or mates with an S, or people that would like to get with your program. So, you know, and just remember, the hate is because you're doing something great. That's how you got to look at it. Personally, seen it around a lot of times that, for this podcast, and some people said some things and emailed me, and different things. And I just laughed and I turned that frown that they had into a smile, into a crown, because I just want to be like I said, a good force for good. And right now, working on being a global force for good. So those are my missions. Um, Maybe personal, maybe I shouldn't say them, but I wanted to put that in there because right now, all of us have a sphere of influence. And we'll do a podcast on that, but all of us have a sphere of influence. And how much good are we putting out in the world, whether it's through, our deeds and actions, through our talking points, through our way of living and our lifestyle. So those are things that we like. So we're going to end this here because it's been a long while. And I want everybody to have a blessed day and blessings through your faith. And what I want for myself, I want for others. And do a good deed for yourself so that it resonates in your family and it resonates with yourself and it resonates to others. So have a great day and be the best that you can be and do the things that are going to make you great. Have a great day. Thanks for listening, and we appreciate you.